Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Two Geeks Talking is an entertainment industry interview show where we interview the creative people from the comic, film, TV, movie, and video game industries. And of course, I'm your host, Kurt Sasso. Welcome back after a slightly longer than normal hiatus, but we are joined today by a past guest who is joining our Five Timers Club here on Two Geeks Talking. We are joined today by Sam Johnson, who's running a Kickstarter campaign for Geek-Girl. How you doing today, Sam?
I'm good, Kurt. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's a very exclusive club being a Five Timers Club, because what that usually means on Two Geeks Talking is you're interesting enough that I want to have you back on, and you also have a great creative talent and project that I like talking about, and that's of course Geek-Girl. So welcome to an exclusive club which is held by Byron Wilkins, 1977, the comic, Doc Carlo S. San Juan from Mouse, as well as Callus Comics, and Liz Staley from Adrastus comic as well. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Having you back on the show here is great because I love superheroes. We've talked about this in the past here. I always asked if you were going to do comics full time, and that's always a challenge for any independent creator. But we'll get into that in a second. Talk about the Kickstarter here, because Geek-Girl has just been exploding recently in the past few years.
Yeah, well, so the Kickstarter is sort of primarily for the current miniseries, which is the Crime War arc. So where we come in with this is Ruby K, the original Geek Girl, who got the super tech glasses, gave her super strength, flight powers. When she was demonstrating these to a clique, they kind of weren't buying it. She kind of made a fool of herself, knocking drinks over them, alienated her clique, with the exception of Summer, who was right behind her with this, excited about the whole superpowers thing, kind of pushed her into becoming a superhero. Ruby stepped up, became a superhero, took on the big bad lightning storm, who was taking down points of authority where they live in Maine. As a result, Ruby's ended up in a coma, and Summer, feeling a bit guilty about kind of pushing into the superhero thing, is filling in for her. She's got the glasses, she's made a replica costume. So Summer's trying to do her best as Geek Girl, but she hasn't got the natural propensity for it that Ruby had.
And it's interesting to see, because you take you take Summer, you put her into these situations, battling crime. She's usually the oracle / sidekick of Ruby there, obviously, and she's doing her best, obviously, but it's got to be tough for someone that is used to being on the sidelines to be in the forefront of being punched a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the general kind of MO with Geek Girl as Ruby and Summer previously was basically they'd be hooked up on their cell phones, and Ruby would be running her superhero banter by Summer via the cell phone to see if that checked out okay. She wasn't too much in the firing line. She'd step up in the finale and help with the battle against Lightning Storm. But she's very much a rookie in this, and she's been taken under the wing of Pitbull, the jock superhero, but he's not entirely sold on her abilities. And another element here is, she's only doing this to fill in, but as he points out to her, have you considered maybe, Ruby isn't going to come out of this coma?
The crime waves that are ramping up in this fair city that Summer is going after is obviously it's a dangerous time to be not only a superhero but to be a civilian as well. Yeah,
so I mean, Lightning Storm did a lot of damage. She trashed 2 police stations, including the police force therein, and hospitalized Neon Girl, big superheroine of Maine. Mm-hmm. So the fight against crime is depleted, and what's happened here, while there's all, we kick off the miniseries with Geek Girl badly trying to foil a mugging or catch a mugger, not doing too great with that. But what's going on a bigger scale is these new wannabe sort of crime lords, the League of Larcenists, have stepped up. They've come equipped with super tech blasters and a teleportation device. They're pulling bank jobs. They've got the skills and the power to do it, and they're trying to grow to get the sort of word out among the criminal community that they're recruiting, grow in number to the point where they can become the Legion of Larcenists. So they're the sort of formidable and getting bigger force in this series.
Well, I was going to say the Legion of Larcenists. I mean, that's not really a good brand name, because if they start texting and using social media, they're just going to be LOL all the time.
Well, that is that is their kind of tag. Like when they pull the bank job in issue 1, I don't know if you noticed like the guns they've got. There's one of them's got a spray can fitted to it, and it sprays LOL on the bank door as they leave.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah. Because they're a quirky bunch of. I forget whether or not I can swear on this show.
Oh yeah, you can go for it.
Okay, so they're a quirky bunch of fuckers. Pighead is the leader of the pack, and his brain is fused with a pig's, and he's got half a pig head to boot. One of them is known as Mongo, and he's got a mask that is Mongo out of Blazing Saddles. One of them's got the unfortunate moniker of Numbnuts, which Pickett chose for him because they don't get on too well, and he found out his wife had made him have a vasectomy. There's some conflict there, and these are not straight down the line crooks, and it's only going to get more weird with the introduction of issue 2 of Chromex, this pseudo street talking robot who gets sort of brought into their ranks without having actually had any say in the matter. So due to circumstances, so there's an alliance forming between him and Terry, aka Numbnuts, and we're going to see how this all plays out.
Let's talk about the Kickstarter, because obviously it's a challenge, because anyone that's done any type of crowdfunding knows that it's a full-time job. It is difficult to promote, to get finance, to showcase your creativity to the world, and Kickstarter is even tougher due to it's an all or nothing thing.
Yeah, I've been following Tyler James runs Comics with an X.
Great guy.
Yeah, comicslaunch.com, which has a wealth of podcasts primarily dedicated to Kickstarter. So I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of preparation, whereas the first time round I really just primarily did it to get pre-order numbers for the trade paperback. So this time I've put a lot more into it, and we've got it's much more sort of Kickstarter friendly this time. Like we've got the digital editions up, which we didn't have before. Yeah. All 4 issues of the current miniseries are available, even though 4 doesn't come out yet. But what the advantage of that is, versus when we did it with the trade, is 4 is in the works. So like one of the rewards we got is you can become one of the Legion of Larcenists. So awesome. One of the rewards is that, and you will appear on the cover of 4 and in the climactic battle. So because Carlos starts working on issue 4, imminently. So that's there, and that's quite a cool thing. So it's going well. It is a full-time job, but luckily I know some people, some creators don't particularly enjoy the sort of marketing side, but I do, so it's all good.
Tyler James has been on the show in the past talking about ComixTribe. This is before he went full-on Kickstarter guru that he is, and an amazing talent. Don't get me wrong; he has incredible comics, and I've loved his work in the past too. But what has he really showed you that a lot of people have pitfalls in when it comes to promoting themselves?
Well, I think, the main thing that Tyler kind of advocates is having a mailing list. So it's kind of surprising how many creators don't, and I didn't. I've been building it up over some time now. But what he says is if you're targeting people, that's the best way to do it. Another thing he's a big advocate of, which I haven't got into yet, but I will be during the campaign, is Facebook ads. He swears by them. So those are the two main things. But also just thinking about what you're putting into the actual, to sort of keep the event interesting after it's begun. Like I've got, like, there's a new cover in the works, so we're able to add stuff as we go along. It's surprising how much there is to I mean, anyone that's interested in doing a Kickstarter or has done one and is planning on doing another, I would really recommend checking out comixlaunch.com, because there's a lot to it. And I did 7 weeks of prep time before launching this Kickstarter, and that was, I could have done more. And that sounds like, what, sort of, if you think about it, what's going to take up 7 weeks, but no problem, right up to the wire, getting everything together. So there's plenty to look into there.
No, that's awesome to hear. I mean, I've done Indiegogo campaigns in the past, and it's amazing. You feel like you're spamming people. You feel like you're intruding on their lives, but in reality, if you don't tell the people what you're promoting, then they're not going to know, because of the massive social media overhaul that everyone is inundated with. I mean, there's a line to walk in terms of sort of how much you're hitting people over the head with it. But another good point that Tyler made was he referenced Breaking Bad and how it's not the case that everyone was in on that from the beginning. So it was only due to sort of being drip fed, all the positive reviews and whatnot about that most of its audience, I think, came in, during the games. So it's, you gotta, as I say, it's the line between bashing people over the head with it and finding ways to make it interesting. And though effectively you are promoting the same thing, the Kickstarter, there's different ways to do that. And you can, and like, in the case of GeekGirl, Carlos Granda, the artist's artwork is gorgeous, so I can easily, pull bits of artwork to use in the promos, which obviously makes it quite attractive. For sure. You've worked with various artists in the past here, or has that been the same one? I apologize, forget.
Just in terms of GeekGirl, do you mean?
Yeah, just GeekGirl.
There was a different artist back in the day when we did Issue 0, but that was a long time ago, and that was a much more low-key affair. So in terms of the mini-series, we're very pleased to have Carlos as illustrated the entire first mini-series. He's illustrating the entire second. Chun-Lin Zhao, who was the colorist for most of the first, is doing all the second. Paul McLaren, the letter, the same situation. And all of them are signed up for the next arc. So one of the aims with this Kickstarter is, if we can get the audience, I've been spending a lot of time, overtime, building up the audience, and if we can take it to the next level with this, then the aim is to go ongoing rather than stick with a series of mini-series. So it wouldn't be like 5 is immediately going to come out after 4, but because money, but and the time to get it done. But the aim, if we can do what I want in terms of growing the audience to the degree that I'm looking to, then what we'll do is, after this mini-series, there'd be a gap, and then we'd come back with another arc, which would begin with issue 5.
Nice. So obviously not everyone can do this full time, but I know you're working towards making this your full-time goal. Are you slowly accomplishing that?
Yeah, I mean, it is slowly, and it is, anyone that works in indie comics knows it's really tough. But I think, I've just had my 45th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm not going to sing you happy birthday, because
no, don't do that. We've had enough of that. But yes, and this is what I'm meant to do, and the reality of the situation is, the minority of the time is spent writing. It is, it's the hustle. So I can see, in Kickstarter, that is a really great. Well, as Tyler advocates it as the best venue for indie creators. So it's possible, and I know the new series has been going because Itchy 1 to 3 are out. As well as being available in the Kickstarter, and it's been going down really well, and people are digging the sort of world I've been building here. So it's all, everything's going in the right direction. So that is always the aim, is to be able to do this, to do what I love full time.
Being in England, that you are, is the comic book scene for indie comics? Because I have to ask this. I'm always curious because I'm so focused in the North America area. Is the indie comic scene alive and well there, or is it still in its infancies?
No. I mean, the thing is, the majority of, I think it's very similar, the comic scene, and in terms of what you're going to be able to get in your comic shop here as to what it is. That the vast majority of what's available in comic shops here are American comics. So when you've got British creators, as we know, there's a huge amount of well-known British creators, but it's American comics that they're working on. And though, like, the publisher of Geek-Girl, Mark Osier, is a British publisher, it's very much, Geek-Girl is very much done in the American comic mold.
Would you, I don't know, I was always wondering if you expanded Geek-Girl into, say, the European front, like there's not just one Geek-Girl, like you figure nerds and geeks in the UK would create something similar to the glasses that your American counterparts have done. It would be kind of interesting, like a doppelganger type effect.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thought, but I mean, at the moment we've kind of got two Geek Girls already, so I don't want to overkill on that. But also, I've got a very definite plan in mind, which partly is why I want to take it ongoing, because I've got an arc planned where I'll be introducing my character, a slightly darker character, Carbracini, voodoo junkie hit woman, the ex-crack whore turned shotgun for hire. And
I'm sorry, I got to stop you there, because that still cracks me up every time you introduce that
the name. I know every time with the name. But yes, there are seeds planted in this mini-series with the introduction of Johnny Carlyle, a power broker of somewhat dubious morality, who we find Nina Dante, who had a kind of throwdown with Geek-Girl in the first series and got her ass kicked. It's coming back. She's like a uber alt girl who goes one step further than the tats and the piercings by having a cybernetic eye. But that's just for show, and she got her ass kicked, and she's got like a following online. She does like sets and all that, and she her fans are clamoring for a rematch with Geek-Girl, but she doesn't want to just go back and get her ass kicked again. So this is where Mr. Carlyle, who provided her with the cybernetic eye, comes in, because there's other things going on with Mr. Carlyle, and he might be able to give her what she needs.
That's awesome. When it comes down to it, though, once this Kickstarter is successful, because I have a strong feeling with your work and your promotions and all of that stuff, once this becomes successful, what does that mean for you?
Well, I mean, Geek-Girl is something I'm extremely invested in and want to, expand and explore the world. So, ongoing is absolutely my ultimate aim with it. So, as I say, if we can get to where I'm aiming to with the Kickstarter, then that will be what we do. And another thing I want to do is with an ongoing series, you've got room to breathe more. And one of the things I've enjoyed about the beginning of the new series is that with Ruby in a coma out of action, we get to spend more time with the other characters, and I want to get deeper into that, such as like the Mean Girls. Karin, who is actually, because what's going on with the Mean Girls that were previously alienated by Ruby, they're now kind of trying to ingratiate themselves back in with her, because Ruby is now, whereas they deemed her kind of a dork and they didn't really buy the superhero business, now that's been proven and she's saved the city, so they want to be part of that. They don't want to be part of what's popular. And what we've got in issue 1 is, they're sort of turning up at her bedside, particularly Stacy, who was with Geek-Girl when she got hold of the specs in the first place. And one thing I want to explore, one character that is notable by her absence is Karin, who was kind of the meanest of the Mean Girls in the first series, and there's no sign of her at her bedside. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on with her, and I also want to get into why because she's pretty horrible, and I want to explore why she is, and I've got ideas and yeah, lots of stuff planned, and also I've referenced before my influence from, which is kind of where Carver is born of, my influence from Grant Morrison's Out There on Doom Patrol, and yeah, there's going to be more of that influence coming in, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'd say that the series will be continuing. All we're determining is whether or not it's going to go ongoing or remain as a series of miniseries. So I've got loads of ideas to get into, and we're going to go somewhere quite different after the dust settles on this one.
We're coming up towards the end of the show, unfortunately, because I always love talking with you. You know that. I'll have you on for 6 through 10 as well whenever you want to promote your stuff. You know me. But what else would you like to promote, talk about, etc.? Because obviously I'm going to put the link of your Kickstarter in the show. We'll Twitter it and all that jazz. But is there something that you really want to touch on that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, no, I mean, this is my absolute focus at the moment. The Kickstarter runs till the end of October. This is what I'm doing full time. This is what I'm putting everything into. It's the best jumping on point there has been for Geek-Girl, because you can get, if you didn't have the original miniseries, that's all there, and it's there digitally and in print. But also the new miniseries recaps what's happened. You can easily come in with that, and it is a new thing with Summer in the tights and cape. So yeah, this is what it's all about for me at the moment. GeekGirlComics.com links to the Kickstarter, and this is your best place to go to get on Geek-Girl.
Oh, that's awesome, Sam. Really appreciate you coming on the show here, and of course, check out his Kickstarter, check out his comics. I mean, obviously, I'm a proponent of independent comic creators. That's why Two Geeks Talking is around. I want to make sure that everyone has their story to tell, and they get to do it on this show. I know we've been non-existent, I'll say it, hiatus, whatever, in the past year and a half. Apologize for that. I am trying to get back into it. But this is a creator that you should be following, that you should be linking up on social media, and honestly, sign up for his mail list, because it's actually entertaining to read, to see what he's accomplishing with other interviews for this Kickstarter, and your daily, not even daily, but your updates that you get on occasion. And they're entertaining, they're enlightening, and he's a great guy. So check him out, check all of his works out. That being said, segueing into the final part of the show here, I have 3 or 4 creators that are coming up this month. In fact, I should be really contacting them shortly. I have Robert Chambers, who's been on the show in the past. Doc, Carlos S. San Juan from Callus Comics and Mouse is going to be on the show as well. There's one other person, and I apologize, I forget who it is, but like I said, Two Geeks Talking is back. We're probably going to be doing only 4 interviews or 5 interviews based on the month that we have. So Sundays is when our show is going to be on. It'll go live on Monday. This show, though, will be active today, so I'll be uploading it today. That'll be good. That being said, you can find me at on Twitter, on Facebook, Two Geeks Talking. Of course, our website, twogeekstalking.com or tgtmedia.com. I'm looking for any creative people that want to get on the show. Speaking of Tyler James, I want to get him back on the show. So I'll be messaging him and talking with him because I want to see where he's been, because it's been at least 6 years or 7 years since he's been on the show. So I want to see what he's been up to lately. Other than that, thank you all for listening and or watching. Of course, my name is Kurt Sasso, and look for Sam Johnson, Geek-Girl Kickstarter campaign, as well as his amazing work today and in the future as well. Thanks for listening and watching. Have a great night all.